Don't bother, Harvey. I'm out of here. This place is not for me.
Samantha, you can't quit. We need you.
Well, she doesn't need me, and she's the one calling the shots. And if you think just because you gave me a client, I'm gonna stay here...
Samantha, like it or not, the world thinks Robert's dirty. People also think that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So if you leave, it's not gonna look like a protest. It'll look like what they all think is true.
I just don't have it in me to roll over to her, Harvey.
I'm not asking you to roll over. I'm asking you to wait this thing out. Because the second she leaves, we're gonna put his name right back on that wall.
And what about the fact she gets approval over all new cases? Because I met with an old friend this morning. He can't afford us, and there is no way I'm not helping him.
Then as far as I'm concerned, you met with him last night, which means it's not a new case. She has a problem with that, she can take it up with me.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Miss Wheeler. Now, what's this about?
Let's see. How about nepotism and wrongful termination?
You're here about Lucas Hodges.
That was fast.
Well, he's the only person we've let go recently, and we were perfectly justified in our decision.
Why don't we let a judge decide that?
You might want to get your facts straight first.
The facts are, you needed to cut someone loose, and you chose to keep your son-in-law over a more qualified employee who happens to be a two-tour veteran.
I know what he is.
Then you should know, if you don't reinstate him, I'm gonna wrap Lucas up in a flag, put him in front of a jury, and then we'll see exactly how many government contracts you get.
Then we'll wrap you in time cards and the medical bills we footed for an employee that Lucas injured.
What?
Lucas was far from perfect, Miss Wheeler. He missed work at crunch time. He didn't always even call in.
Says the man trying to get out of a lawsuit.
You don't have a lawsuit because we had cause. And if you don't believe me, ask my secretary for his records. They'll show that he was erratic. He was impossible to work with. For God's sakes, one day someone startled him. He practically attacked the man.
And if that's true, why didn't you bring this up when you let him go?
Because I liked Lucas. So we said it was because of that contract to give him a soft landing, but the truth is, we were gonna fire him no matter what. So I'm sorry that he lied to you, but this suit has no merit. And you can show yourself out.
I can't believe they're using those days I missed against me.
They're using them because they constitute cause. The question is, why didn't you tell me?
It was a couple days here and there.
Lucas, I never saw you be late to one exercise, one training session.
So what?
So you know what? The absences, the aggression, all worse during high-stress periods.
Look, Samantha.
You have PTSD, don't you?
No, I do not. But check my medical records. There's nothing in them.
Because you never saw a doctor?
Of course I saw a doctor.
Why was that?
Because I had trouble sleeping.
Because of nightmares? Flashbacks?
I want to talk about this.
Well, we're gonna talk about it. Because I can't defend you if you're not being honest with me.
Honest about what? About how there are nights I'm afraid to close my eyes and days I never get out of bed?
Listen to me. You have nothing to be ashamed of. There are literally thousands of people going through the exact same thing. And once we get you diagnosed,
I'm not getting diagnosed.
Lucas, it'll protect you.
Samantha, I told them I didn't want to be diagnosed back then. I'm not getting reclassified now. That's the end of it.
Wait a minute, you told them? You told your psychiatrist?
I didn't go to a psychiatrist. I went to our MD. I begged him not to put it on my record. He put it down as anxiety and gave me pills. And they kept me going through my tour.
And once you got out?
I thought it would get better.
But it didn't.
No. It got worse.
Well, if your employer won't pay, maybe someone else will.
Samantha, there you are.
Whatever it is, the answer is no.
Well, that's too bad, because I just heard you assigned an associate to subpoena military records for a new case.
So what if I did?
So, I want you to drop it.
Excuse me?
As I mentioned this morning, I have approval over all new matters, and this one has red flags all over it.
Well, I don't see any red flags, and I'm not hanging my friend out to dry.
The fact that he's a friend is the red flag. Because if you start to lose, you may not fight the right way.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But it doesn't matter, because this case isn't new. I took it last night.
You don't think I know a cover story when I hear one?
I don't care what you think you know. I told Harvey about the case when I took it, which means, according to your own rules, you don't get a say as to whether I drop this or not.
Well, I do get a say on the use of firm resources, in particular on the cases that pay us nothing. So if you pursue this, you do this without your expense account, our associates, and anything else. And if I find out otherwise, I'll drop the client myself.